Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The question we should be asking ourselves, the suspended Halal Strategy Summit by the federal government of Nigeria has provoked deep discourses on what this Halal economy is all about and how Nigeria can honestly tap into the global Halal economy and markets, to generate so much non-oil revenue. For most people who do not understand, when we talk about halal just simply one of the ethical, it has to do with ethical consumption, ethical production. I'm not a Muslim, but from the little literature that I've studied, the average Muslim wants his food prepared in a very special way, his beef in a very special way, his clothing and everything. Interestingly, Nigeria is one country that has a huge Muslim population of almost 50% of his population, of her population. And three countries that have actually stood out to pursue halal strategies are Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Malaysia. And interestingly, those who have tapped into the biggest market, this halal market, actually mostly from North America and Brazil, non-Muslim nations. What we do every year in Nigeria is waste scarce dollar resources, sending people to pilgrimage to Mecca, to Medina, to Rome, to Jerusalem. They go there, stone the devil, stone whatever they want to stone, come back empty-handed without anything to show for it. It's not as if their character is changed. It's not as if that they have become ethical and honest in their dealings with their fellow human beings. They come back worse than the devil they went to stone. So how do we tap into the halal economy? It's a very large economy, very huge economy. The agri sector is about $2.7 trillion. The fashion sector alone, the halal fashion is alone almost about $337 billion. The halal beef market alone is almost about $39 billion, and it's expected to grow to about $885 billion by 2030. Brazil generates almost about $14 billion just from the halal food market. South Africa generated over 60,000, sold over 60,000 tons of beef, halal compliant beef. Do you know why we're exporting nothing? Because even if you look at the beef market, the way we even treat our cows, the way we handle our cows, none of them are qualified to be processed and exported to any of the halal compliant, Muslim practitioners and economists. We have 19 million kwashiorkor cows that were allowed to treat them so beastly at the end of the day. See, that is why we are doing nothing, because most of the things we do is just politics. You just saw the advert, Mr. President and the Vice President with their pictures. Oh, we want to adopt a national halal strategy that will help us achieve one to other. Babash, ashash, lie. They have no intention. All they just want to do is to tap into the Muslim sentiment. Oh, we are trying to do things that will appeal to our Muslim brothers. But their characters do not even reflect the real halal thing. They know of a truth that Nigeria can actually generate nothing less than $10 billion out of the $339 billion halal beef market. We can actually make as much as $20 billion out of the $339 billion halal beef market. But we know what to do. The way you rear the animals, the way you process the meat, the way you handle the animals and everything goes a long way. In fact, there are processes that must be adhered to. None of the animals within the way we treat our cows qualifies any of them to be sold out there as a halal compliant beef. That is why, if they are very honest and sincere, if Mr. President and Mr. Vice President are very sincere about tapping into the halal economy, about tapping into the $339 billion halal beef market, meat market, the first thing they will do is to ban open grazing. Firstly, because For a cow meat to qualify as halal, you must treat the cow very, very well. You don't need to trek it, beat it, and drag it from Bambegwa to Mwaya. And how do we do it to make it qualify? We need to set up agro-pastoral centers, ranches. In most of the Niger State has 7.6 million hectares of land. Total local government area in Bauchi alone has over 6 million hectares of land. Sambisa Forest and all the rest of them where we have space. They decide today to do what is right. They can set up agro-pastoral centers, agro-industrial hubs, 1,000, 2,000 hectares each in 2,500 locations. We have 64 million hectares of land. If we carve out 2,000 hectares of land in 2,500 centers, it's just about 5 million hectares only out of the 64 million hectares. It will take us $6 million to set up each agro park. Have about 1,000 to 5,000 cows, properly ranched, properly raised, properly fed, properly slaughtered to adhere to the halal compliant principles. If we want to tap into the $327 billion halal compliant fashion and the garment and leather market, we know what to do from Kano to Aba to Onitsha. How to set up garment industrial hubs to produce garment fashions that are halal compliant across even the other food value chain. You want to do moringa, you want to do oil, you want to do it in a way that is halal compliant. If Nigeria is very serious and we decide to just take 5% of the $7 trillion halal compliant economy, run the numbers in dollar, but we know what to do. One of the ways your meat or your animal qualifies under the halal is you must ranch them. If we have 2,500 agro-pastoral centers, we have 5,000 cows in each of those centers, properly taken care of, properly butchered, properly processed. We can export massively into the halal beef seeking economies. We will create in each center over $42 million annually. Each center will give us about 2,000 to 10,000 direct jobs. Each center will give us about 200, 300 agro rangers, fully equipped, fully trained, under the supervision of National Security Advisor and a state coordinator. In 6 months, 1 year, we will destroy insecurity. We will bring back to their homes the 3.5 million Nigerians in IDP camps. We will bring back home the 300,000 Nigerians that are in refugee camps in Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. We can tap into the over $5 to $7 trillion halal funding schemes outside there. But we know that everything, whenever you see them do all this, they're just trying to play to base primordial ethnic, religious, whip up religious sentiment, because 90% of Nigerians do not even understand anything about halal economy. Once they say halal, we are pandering to the sentiment of our Muslim brothers. But we know that 90% of, is it in Katsina State that has over 80% illiteracy level? Is it Zamfara? Is it Sokoto? Where you have, to all do apologies. Is it Ebonyi? Where you have over 70-80% of their citizens as illiterates. How would they understand what you mean by halal and how they can tap into the halal economy? If these governments are sincere, the first move to tap into the $339 billion halal meat market is to ban open grazing and set up agro-pastoral centers. The pastoralists, those who are involved in animal husbandry, will ranch their animals. They will provide, the animal poo will provide organic fertilizer processed for the crop producers. We set up processing companies to process everything in line with the halal principles and other halal steps. In the fashion, we know what to do. Tourism, we know what to do. Even for the medicals, we know what to do. But we know that when they came up with that, national strategy, when Nigeria is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, they came up with all those things. They are playing the same dirty policy they played in 2023, Muslim ticket. You expect that the same silly sentiment Buhari played. They saw him at the third Mahdi. Buhari became president, one would have expected, oh, a former military general, a former head of state, that he will have destroyed this. They even touted and lied that he destroyed bandits in Chad. One would have expected that within 6 months, Buhari will have destroyed every insurgents in Nigeria. 8 years after Buhari became president, after wasting $25 billion in security expenses, he ended up spreading insecurity from northeast to other regions of Nigeria. Higher links. When you have leaders who are only interested in politics, or only interested in looting, or only interested in primordial things and playing ethno-religious games, who are not sincere in the mood of Ahmadu Bello, in the mood of Tafawa Balewa, in the mood of Obafemi Awolowo, in the mood of Dr. Michael Yorokoro. When you have leaders who are not in the mood of Lateef Jokonde, whose only interest is politics, stealing and looting, that nation is unfortunate. May God help us. If we want to play, we want to do things right, let us know what to do. But they are not even looking at nitty-gritties. They are not doing what they're supposed to do. They know the right things they do, but they won't do it. Everything they do is with politics in mind. The other day, this afternoon, conference of former deputy governors. They gathered all of them, even those who have lost relevance. It's all about politics. Aggregating those that will support them for 2027. Everything you see them do is politics. No sincere altruistic effort to fix this land and save the over 197 million Nigerians who are groveling under poverty. May God have mercy on us.